Hi, this is Azim Jamal. We are speaking about the corporate Sufi alphabet, A to Z, and today we are focusing on the letter R, and we picked for R Rumi, Rumi the Sufi giant. If we look at Rumi's message or messages, he's a 12th century poet, and even to now his message resonates with people. So he was way ahead of his time, and in North America he's revered by many people, and his books are still doing well despite being there for so many years. So let's look at corporate life and take some of Rumi's messages and see how they're applicable. So one of the things Rumi says is, give up your drop and become the ocean. Give up your drop and become the ocean, which means that your drop is your ego. You're a drop, but you find it difficult to drop the drop. So you become everything. I am the big drop, but the big drop is nothing. Why don't you give up that drop and become the ocean, so much more mightier, so much more larger, so much more abundant? But we still hold on to that drop, the me, the I, which becomes our stumble. The word me, M looks down, the word we, W looks up. So when you go from me to we, you really become more powerful. So Rumi's message about giving up your drop and becoming the ocean is quite relevant in the corporate world, because many people become so self-centered and forget that it's really in the giving up the drop that really the power happens. The other message he has is about we are all fellow travelers in the journey of life, and we all face the same seasons of life, seasons of hardship, of joy, of victory, of defeat. So we all one in some ways, right? So when this idea of a fellow traveler comes into play, you look at your colleagues, you look at your customers, you look at your stakeholders as one kind of people, and you work in harmony, you work in unity, you work in synergy, as opposed to one against the other. Rumi's message about when you see a big white cloth and a small dot, what do you see? What do most people see? They see the small dot and cannot see the white cloth, because the small dot gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can't even see the white cloth. So the message here for the corporate life is, if you focus on one negative thing, your whole life becomes negative. You think of negativity and you invite more negativity into your life. But if you look at the bigger picture and you start counting your blessings and you look at life from a perspective of gratitude, you find that the positive outlook invites more positive results. If your staff is doing so many good things, but you keep catching that staff on one wrong thing they are doing all the time, they'll become a bit disappointed, a bit bitter, and will not be able to give you the same results you would like them to give. As Ken Blanchard would say, catch people doing things right. The more you catch people doing things right, the more right things you do. And Rumi in the 12th century has talked about, when you see a big white cloth and a small dot, what do you see? And if you keep seeing that small dot, you will be more negative in your life. Now, switching this to your personal life, in your family, for example, you look at the drop. There's ego in the family. The spouse wants to hold their position and not give up and forget the bigger picture. You will find people focusing on the small dot and forgetting the big white cloth, and then again, the relationship gets soured. There's so many good things happening in the family, so many good things. People are healthy, nobody's in bad habits, there's respect. But then one thing happens and the whole world revolves on that one thing, and all the good things are forgotten. So Rumi, he's Masnavi, he has written 26,000 couplets. He's a giant of the Persian world. His messages are very, very powerful. And if you take any of his message or most of his messages, you'll find that they have some resonance in the corporate world. And I think if people were to engage themselves and understand his deep philosophy, they'll make their life much better in the corporate world, in the business world, in their personal life, and also in their beyond, because Rumi is very spiritual and he talks about the beyond part quite often. And so Rumi would be a central figure in inviting harmony of business, of balance, and of beyond.